evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes. Hello, I'm Boom Gonzalez. In tonight's game plan, the Utah Jazz take game number 1. My partner is so happy. Their series against the Los Angeles Clippers. It's only one game, but have the Jazz finally established themselves as legitimate NBA title contenders?
I wonder what I'll say to that. Then we'll fly to Pagudpod, Ilocos Norte as 2019 SEA Games bronze medalist Z Gervacio takes us inside the Philippine beach volleyball team bubble.
And then we'll go inside the game of reigning WBC Bantamweight World Champion Nonito Donaire as he looks ahead to his next goal. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Folks, remember the last time we saw the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals? It was 23 years ago, where their star, Donovan Mitchell, was just 1 year old, and apparently Paul was 8. Fast forward to today, and here we are, witnesses of the Jazz winning Game 1 over the Clippers. Mitchell scored 45 points, and fellow All-Star Rudy Gobert provided the game-winning block to seal the deal. Now, it's just one game, but have the Jazz finally established themselves as legitimate NBA title contenders? I know one person who definitely believes in that, even when the season started. The #1 Jazz fan in the Philippines, my co-host, the real captain of this ship, Paulo Del Rosario. You know, Pao, I was worried about today, coming in today. So I'm glad that the Jazz won. I was rooting because I don't know if you would be swinging scripts at me if the Jazz lost. But yes, so you take #1. And for the Paulo Del Rosario fans, kalma lang. I'm only taking over this segment because we are going to treat him like the Utah Jazz correspondent fan or whatever, / reporter.
You know what? I'm going to dress up for the part.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Just to get ready. But since I'm going to analyze at the same time,
yes, please.
I'm also going to bring this out too.
Internalize.
So we're ready.
Okay, game. Okay.
Okay. All right. So,
First of all,
let me take this off first. This is too much. But yes.
First of all, first half, how did you feel, in all honesty, because there was a 14-point lead, you couldn't get through the 9-point lead barrier, started really slow, a lot of bricks, maybe because of the rust, maybe, the break. Tell me what you felt.
You know, they missed, I think it was 22 straight field goal opportunities in that first half. And as it was happening, the only thing I was thinking of was like, oh my goodness, is this how we flame out, or is this a sign of things to come? But then the fact of the matter is that most of their shots actually came in the places that they wanted it to. It just wasn't going in. So you just had to hope that the law of averages come into place, that they do eventually get the shots falling. And lo and behold, the second half happened. They were able to hit their shots. Donovan Mitchell was amazing. He scored 30-plus points in that second half alone. Ended the first half with only 13, and he was a star at the end. He was arguably the biggest star in a game that involved Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
I'm not going to ask you the question, are they legitimate NBA title contenders? Because I know what I'm going to get.
Yeah, you're
going
to get that from me.
Yeah. You're going to say that, and you've been saying it the whole year, and I won't take that against you. I'm here to kind of play devil's advocate tonight.
Go ahead, yeah.
So, what do you say though to people who still don't believe it's the better question after, the first round victory and this emphatic come from behind win in game #1?
Well, I think the biggest argument against the Jazz is the fact that they don't have a superstar. They don't have a Luka Doncic. They don't have a LeBron, even a Kawhi right now in this particular series. And a lot of people say that there's no superstar in that team. And at the moment, I would agree that maybe they don't have a superstar. But then you're now watching one turn into a superstar. You have an all-star turning into a superstar, and that is Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell, his challenge in this particular playoff run is to basically evolve. Kung Pokemon yan, you go to one stage to the other. Bigyan mo na ng Thunderstone yan, and then he'll go into something else. So Donovan Mitchell becoming
I'll pretend I understood that.
Yeah. So this is for the 90s babies who would really get that reference. But yeah, so Donovan Mitchell going up a level, that is going to be key in this playoff series. And I think we've seen it in the bubble. He was fantastic, but a loss to a very good Denver team. Now, opportunity, they got over that hump, first round, out of the way. Now it's their chance to show that they can knock off one of the presumptive favorites before this whole thing even started in the Clippers.
I like what you're doing. You're underselling and over-delivering.
Yeah,
Huh? Okay.
my goodness.
Donovan Mitchell, since you're talking about stars and
Mm-hmm.
superstars, what do you think about the interaction between who was called Flash and Flash 2.0 now? As you know, a lot of talking on court while in real time while the game was going on between, of course, Dwayne Wade, who's one of my all-time favorite players, and Donovan Mitchell.
Well, you know, Dwayne Wade being there to coach Donovan, sobrang bonus yun eh.
Coach talaga eh,
Oh,
no?
parang coach talaga.
Okay,
and,
okay.
and Donovan called him basically a brother. And there, it's very well documented yung relationship ni Donovan Mitchell and ni Dwayne Wade. And you know, even if you weren't a big Miami Heat fan back in the day, when Dwayne Wade talks, you listen. And
Sure,
it's such a big bonus knowing that yung may relationship nga sila eh. And since there's that, I mean, like Dwayne Wade has won championships over and over again. So apart from having a genius coach in Quinn Snyder being in his ear, now imagine having someone who played virtually the same position, not exactly the same way in Dwayne Wade, and Donovan Mitchell getting that mentorship as the series is going. No one can really have that.
From someone who's been there, done that,
Yeah,
won
absolutely.
and lost
Yeah.
in the finals. All right, we're talking about those shooting guards. Punta tayo dun sa kabila.
Yeah.
I know you would love to talk about the Utah Jazz
Yeah,
all night.
yeah.
But in the you know, you still have to host this show and you
Yeah.
still have to answer questions about the Clippers. The other PG or the other SG shooting guard
Yeah.
or two guard of the other team. What did you think about this game? Boy, he was under a lot of pressure. He shot badly, although he did make that three at the last part to cut the lead in half. And the chants, I'm sure, from the loud Utah Jazz fans probably got to him. Paul, what do you think? What do you think?
So the chance was overrated.
Oh, is that
overrated?
what it is?
Yeah, overrated. So I'm assuming that's the
Okay.
the polite version of it, or at least what we all heard, right? So Paul George has become, I guess, a controversial figure or a polarizing figure rather, in terms of okay, so is he still that star we remember from his days in the Pacers? Is he still that star we remember from his early days with OKC?
That first year in OKC,
Absolutely.
which was great.
So,
yeah.
I mean, like we were talking about this
Right.
before we even went on air, and right
No,
now.
don't tell them that. Don't
Okay,
tell
okay,
them that.
quiet. I know, but we're adding
I'm just
depth to
kidding.
this. We're adding depth to this. Pero see, Paul George, when he got to the Clippers, he had to take a back seat, and right now a lot of people are saying that Kawhi needs help, and that guy should be Paul George. So every failure that the Clippers have right now falls onto him, and his performance today didn't necessarily help. He had a hard time scoring, hard time getting to rhythm, and for Paul George, the challenge would always be to not just at least closely match the level of a Kawhi Leonard to elevate this into a championship team. Kasi sabi nga nila that the Clippers are so dangerous because they have all these stars. But what happens if one of them is actually a falling star, which is Paul George? So that's something that they need to kind of solve as the series goes on.
Aabangan natin yan for game number 2 if playoff P will actually show up. All right, quickly. Philly, Atlanta.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Quick thoughts on that.
You know, I think this is a closer series than most people thought it would be initially. And but then at the end of the day, you have a guy like Joel Embiid dropping 40, and he could change everything in particular. I remember I was talking to a few Philly fans, and I was looking through the box score and thinking that, hey, Ben Simmons is not necessarily scoring. But then, you know, you don't need him to score as much. The fact of the matter is that he changes the game in so many ways in general. So all the weapons, at least on paper, lamang pa rin talaga si Philly eh. But then Atlanta have shown us that they have chances. They have at least a surprising amount of firepower that we didn't realize it is as potent as it is to give trouble to a Philadelphia side.
The numbers of Embiid in game 1 and game 2.
Yeah.
It's great, but
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the physicality. I'm surprised with that, knowing that he has that injury with the knee. The physicality of his game in game 1 and
Yeah.
game number 2 is great. Speaking of big men and physicality, Nikola Jokic, what has impressed you the most of this MVP awardee, official na? Was he your top pick, or were you wavering on this one? And now that he has won, what has impressed you?
Well, because, you know, Nikola Jokic in general, I think is I think there was no argument, or at least real argument, that he was going to be the MVP given what he's done for this Denver team. As we take a look at, you see, okay,
The evolution.
for all the people who are worried that when you're younger, that you know you're probably too soft or hindi kayo healthy, guys, when you get old, you have a chance to become like that. An MVP, look, 26.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 8.3 assists.
Second round pick pa.
Played all 72 games.
Yun eh.
Oo, grabe yun.
Yun yung
So,
mabigat.
you have all of that together. It is a fantastic campaign for Nikola Jokic, the healthiest, the most impactful on a playoff team that's going to make a difference in this year.
That to me is the most impressive thing, the fact that he played all of those
Yes.
games. The first Denver Nugget to win the MVP. And by the way, it doesn't get any better than this because the 2021 NBA playoffs are still here and all bets are off. So don't miss the NBA action tomorrow on NBA TV Philippines. He's coming back against the Phoenix Suns. When we return, this is not a drill. Our bubble invasion is kicking off with the Philippine beach volleyball team in Pagudpod, Ilocos Norte. 2019 SEA Games beach volleyball bronze medalist Gervacio will be giving us the tour when the game returns.
Hey everyone, this is Gervacio from your Philippine beach volleyball team, and this is a day in our bubble life here in Saud Beach, Pagudpod, Ilocos Norte. Good morning. So it's a little past 5 a.m. and everybody is starting to wake up from their sleep and start their day. Naimbag nga bigat, girls!
Naimbag na bigat po!
For breakfast, we always have pandesal, hard-boiled eggs, and of course, coffee. We're here in Pagudpod, Ilocos Norte for our training bubble in preparation for the ABC Continental Cup, an Olympic qualifying tournament which will be held in Thailand starting on June 18. At ang pinaka-masipag mag-sunblock.
Daily routine. After drill, after break, lahat.
After practice, usually we eat. Ngayon, kasama natin si Krung. Bakit mo tinago yan? Anong kinakain mo? Ano yan? Coach pa, di ba yan? And James. Alright, so let me give you a tour of our training bubble. Here is our outdoor gym. So, hindi lang ang athletes ang nag-workout dito sa aming bubble, kundi ang aming coaches. Hello! Hi, Coach Nick. Hi, Coach Pao.
Sawadee Kapi.
Hi, Coach Nick. Okay, here we go. Sa mga hindi nakakaalam, si Coach D ay isang UAAP champion back in his days for the UST Growling Tigers. So, that's our outdoor gym, and to this side is our beach volleyball courts. This is where we eat our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hi, Ja! At dito makikita rin na meron kaming community pantry. Hi!
Hi po.
Pagod ka?
Opo.
Gano'n ka pagod?
Pagod na pagod. Pagod po.
Hi, James!
Hello.
Hi, Ran. And over to that side is our court. Sa men's division, isa sa mga tandem natin na lilipad pa Thailand ay sina Jaron and James.
Hello po.
Dahil sila din ay ang ating bronze medalist in the previous SEA Games, anong ine-expect natin ngayon? AVC naman this coming June in Thailand.
Gagawin po namin yung lahat para maabot po namin yung goals po namin sa darating na ABC. Basta magtulungan lang po kami.
James, anong ginagawa niyo ni Ja naman to bond?
Nag-o-open kami sa isa't isa, nag-share kami ng mga problems namin. Dati, hindi pa kami masyado open sa isa't isa. Medyo tinatago yung may naiinis ako sa iyo, ganyan, pangit. Tapos ngayon, pinaprangka na namin yung isa't isa para mas umangat pa yung laro namin.
For you guys who don't know, James is still with NU.
Yes po.
And Jaron naman is from
Yes.
UST. So, sa UAAP, rivals talaga sila. Kaya, very interesting yung tandem na to. Isa pang interesting tandem dito sa Philippine Beach Volleyball Team ay ang tandem nina Jude and Krong. Hi guys!
Hello po.
So, interesting din dahil si Jude ay kagagraduate lang from FEU. Samantalang si Krong naman taga-UST. So, isa pa tong rivals. Kamusta ang bubble life dito sa pagod-pod, Krong?
Sobrang overwhelming yung bubble life namin dito sa Pagudpod. Not like sa Manila. Dito sa bubble namin sa Pagudpod, kami namin nakikita namin yung tubig, yung buhangin, mga natures. Kaya ang sarap sa pakiramdam na nasa Pagudpod kami ngayon.
Okay, Jude, anong favorite thing mo dito sa bubble natin?
Yung araw-araw nakakaapa kami sa buhangin. Also ligo din sa dagat kasi sobrang sarap sa pakiramdam.
Pansin ko meron kayong secret handshake. Sample nga. Paano yun? At ang pangatlong tandem na pupunta sa Thailand para sa ABC Continental Cup ay sina Femi and Ranran. Last 2019 SEA Games, part ka ng national team ng indoor. Ngayon pinili mo mag-beach volleyball. Anong biggest challenge para sa iyo?
Siguro sa akin is yung kondisyon ng katawan. Mas mahirap dito sa sa beach kasi ang dami mong galaw kasi nga dalawa lang kayo.
Femi, anong favorite thing mo so far dito sa training bubble natin?
My favorite thing is yung togetherness ng team kasi you're in a bubble, so you have a lot of time talaga to bond with your teammates, to build the family, to build your relationships with your teammates.
So it's 4:45 p.m. and it's time for training part 2.
Pasasa na po kayo. Boss, makatawa ba?
Kasama natin ngayon si Jen and Mer. Hi! Kumusta? Excited ba kayo for the ABC? Anong feeling?
Excited, same time, masaya kasi magandang opportunity siya. Makikita namin paano maglaro ng ibang bansa, ma-acquire namin yung knowledge pagdating sa laruan.
Meron ba kayong team na excited na makita, maglaro or makalaban?
Japan!
Japan talaga? Bakit?
Kasi
Gambate!
ang narinig ko na yung maglalaro daw sa Japan, maglalaro na daw talaga ng Olympics.
Oh, wow!
Marami kaming matututunan sa kanila kung paano sila maglaro.
Ang isa pa nating tandem na lalaban sa Thailand ay sina Deej and Beloved. Okay, meron ba kayong secret handshake?
Meron te.
Sige nga, sample. Ano yung wish nyo for the team for the tournament paglipad nyo sa Thailand?
Para sa akin po, yung makarating kami ng safe doon and yung goal po namin na manalo kami.
So, kailangan lang tiyaga and mangarap ng mataas. Oo nga, kasi Olympic qualifier siya.
Oo,
diba?
di basta-bastang tournament yun.
So, syempre, kasama din natin sina Sisi and Pons. Anong feeling ng nasa bubble tayo ngayon after the long anticipation, di ba?
Sobrang saya. Kasi nakakita naman din ng bago sa mga mata namin. Kahit ano namang setup, goal lang kami. Kasi syempre may goal kami. And trust the process lang.
Ikaw, Pons, anong na-miss mo sa court training nung bago tayo dumating dito? Oo.
Siyempre, una yung court. Kasi sobrang tagal din na hindi nakapag-court. Almost isang taon din. Kasi diba, nung 2020 pa. So, nakapag-court paminsan-minsan, pero iba pa rin talaga yung dire-diretso. Tapos dito, sobrang ganda pa nung
Twice pa.
ambience. Tapos may dagat. Dito yung kahit sobrang pagod yung ensayo, parang pag tiningnan mo yung paligid mo, parang ma-relax ka.
One wish for the team this coming ABC?
Ang wish namin is gabayan kami ni Lord sa mga journey namin dito sa ABC, and syempre wag kaming pabayaan sa mga sumusuporta, and gagawin po namin lahat, and gusto din talaga namin makapag-Olympic. Sobrang taas ng level na yun, pero wala namang bayad sa pangarap. Kaya mangangarap na lang din kami ng taas, napakataas. Kaya laban, Pilipinas.
Okay, thank you, girl.
Thank you!
A lot of our dreams have been made into a reality simply by coming here for the training bubble. At marami pang mga pangarap ang nabubuo sa ngayon. Kaya napaka-grateful kami sa Ilocos Norte sa pagkupkop sa amin dito sa kanilang tahanan. And that's it. That was a day in a bubble life here in Pagudpod. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Gervacio for The Game.
That was Gervacio for our bubble invasion. Now, after the break, we go inside the game of reigning WBC Bantamweight World Champion Nonito, the Filipino Flash Donaire. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
We are with the WBC Bantamweight Champion of the World. The King is back. Thank you for joining us inside the game, Nonito Donaire.
Thanks for having me.
Champ, first of all, congratulations. What a great win. It was something that, the entire Filipino nation was really proud of. When you let out that growl at the end of it after you saw the fight being waved off, how good did that feel for you?
I felt great because we really worked hard for it. We trained so hard, and everything. We just put everything in there. The whole team was just we were just so focused. We wanted that win so bad, and it was accomplished at the end of the night.
Nonito, there were a lot of people who said that Ubali might present some challenges to you, that he might be a bad matchup for you. But you were very confident heading into the fight that his style would play into yours perfectly. What did you see in him that made you, aware, or at least gave you the confidence to see that, he will be going for the traps that you send in for him?
Well, he could be very difficult if I was the same type of fighter previous to that fight, because we were just there to fight and just without strategic going into the fight. But this time, we had all the time to really put everything together, put the strategy together. So when we came in there, he just saw a different person, a different guy who wasn't standing still to get hit, and so anybody could have, even my father said that it might be a very, very difficult fight, but we changed up everything, so strategically and just physically I was just a different person, and that made it a little bit easier than what people expected of me.
You made your intentions known right after the fight and what you wanted to accomplish. You wanted to be, an undisputed, a unified champion in the Bantamweight division. We all know that Naoya Inoue has a challenger coming up in Michael Dasmariñas, a Filipino. Then the other champion in the same category will be John Del Casimero, of course. The target surely is Inoue, but what are the options that you're looking forward in the future? Do you want to fight against him if he beats Dasmariñas in his next fight immediately?
Well, right now, I that's the plan that we have, that we set up even before the fight with Ubali. We wanted to get that rematch right away, but it never happened until everything started to open up. There's a big possibility of that happening now. For me, that's still my goal, and if Dasmariñas somehow make it happen, and anything can happen in boxing, especially for a hungry fighter like Dasmariñas, that'll be great for the Philippines. That'll be incredible.
Nonito, I cannot let you go without asking this question. In a couple of months' time, Manny Pacquiao going back to the ring after a long layoff, like what you had in front of you, your expectations from his performance against a tremendous champion in Errol Spence.
You can't, I don't believe in age, unless you're all the way past the time, of course. But I believe that with proper training, proper mentality, going into the ring, and Pacquiao is just one of those guys that's always going to be dangerous. So, I don't write him off any with this fight at all, regardless if Errol Spence is undefeated and he's beating everybody or anything like that. I just don't write off a fighter like Manny Pacquiao.
Nonito, thank you so much for joining us here inside the game. By the way, we love that WBC cap, and we know that you'll be collecting more belts soon.
Yes. I'm just grateful, man. Grateful for the opportunity given to me by WBC and getting this fight and becoming world champion again. And big shout out to my wife, who the first female who will be presented with a WBC belt for trainer. So she's done her job as not only as a mom, as a wife, as a manager, as a strength and conditioning coach, and a head coach in my corner. So she's done all of that, and I give shout out to my beautiful wife, who's just amazing, just fantastic, just the best partner that anybody could have. So congratulations to her.
You make a great team. You and Rachel, you make a great team. Congratulations once again, the WBC Bantamweight Champion of the World, Nonito Donaire.
That was Carlo Pomintuan with the Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire. He's Boom Gonzalez, the guy who captained the show when it was a very jazz-centric beginning. And I'm Paolo Del Rosario. Thanks for watching. This has been The Game.